So as we've been talking about mindfulness, we've been talking about tactical mindfulness or mindfulness-based tactical instruction, whatever we're calling it. The basic message here is, how do I bring those elements of mindfulness into this tactical environment? We started with that basic definition of mindfulness is paying attention to the present moment on purpose without judgment. Remembering judgment isn't like good, bad. Judgment means when autopilot kicks in, am I able to take control back, to be open to new possibilities and just keep my awareness open? Okay, and for that purpose, we practice combat breathing, we practice SILs, we practice progressive muscle relaxation. And you know, really all of that is good because and this isn't me, I didn't come up with this isn't new, maybe you've already seen this or heard it, it's the hand model of the brain. And if we think about the outside of the brain being those higher order functions, those hypothetical thinking, all the important things we do, right? And the inside of the brain here is the lizard brain. This is the fight, flight, or freeze, you know, when the adrenaline kicks in. And really what we have is with our brain, when we see that threat, when we encounter that threat, we literally flip our lids, right? All that adrenaline, the switching back and forth between parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems, what is happening is all of that is gone because of the threat I'm encountering, and now all I have is that lizard brain. Mindfulness is so important because what it allows me to do is, first of all, realize, whoa, I flipped my lid. If I don't have that situational awareness practiced, I will not even, it'll take me forever to realize it. I did a training and I had just finished the training. I was so hopped up, I could not holster my weapon because it was full of mud. I did a last slide behind a barricade, right? Finally, the instructor grabbed my arm and said, look at your holster. Only then did he essentially stop and get me to bring my brain back into working order. So that's what mindfulness can do. Mindfulness can help us to first be aware that we flipped our lid, and then basically to help us bring back control. Now, a lot of these tactics I've been talking about so that we can be more proficient in the tactical environment, so that when we're out there, we can maintain situational awareness even in the midst of the peanut butter hitting the fan, all that, okay? But here's another aspect, right? Because a lot of guys that a lot of officers I talk to, they talk about being able to flip the switch, right? Being able to go frosty, whatever description we're using, that they can be in go mode right away. Excellent, wonderful. Oftentimes what I hear on the mental health side, the behavioral health side is, you know what, I can flip that switch on, but man, it takes a long time to flip the switch off. And a lot of times I like to challenge people and say, don't think of it as an on-off switch, think of it as a dimmer switch, right? I got that dimmer switch in the living room where if I need it, boom, I can push the button and light is on, we're go. But then I can slowly dial it down. And a lot of times that's what we need to practice. And mindfulness is great for that as well, right? Because right now I'm ready to go, but what about when the situation is over? It might not be as easy as just taking off my kit or taking off my holster. I might have to dedicate more time and energies to calming down. This is for me is especially important if I'm talking about off shift, going back home. Whether it's me, whether it's with a family, whatever it may be, am I able to dial it down and get back to that more calm state? Because arguably, if I'm hopefully going home and it's safe, I don't need to be on edge. I don't need to be go, go, go mode. And so again, this is where all those same strategies of combat breathing, maybe we call it guided breathing because we're going off shift, right? But that guided breathing, combat breathing, the SILs, progressive muscle relaxation, all of those can still come into play. All of those can still help me to calm down and to get to that more rested state. Oftentimes, when I'm trying to calm down, that's where I might have intrusive thoughts. Oh man, I keep thinking about this. Where did this come from? Perseverating thoughts. Thoughts that I kept seeing that on scene and now I can't stop thinking about it. Okay? Once again, if you remember all the way back in that first video, that is something taking control of my mental spotlight and directing the attention there. Hey, congratulations, you're human, it happens. I am not gonna beat myself up over it. What I'm gonna work on is how then can I, that's where my attention is, I'm gonna bring it back here. So maybe I'm home, maybe I'm off shift, and man, I just keep replaying that scene over and this is what I should have done, this is what I should have done. I keep thinking about it. Okay, fine, I'm gonna put it to rest. And maybe just with simple breathing, maybe I have to do SILs, maybe I have to just go and do some lifting and then do progressive muscle relaxation afterwards. But all of those are not just distracting. They're not just trying to make me think of something else besides that thought. No, instead, these are directing my attention to something else and actively practicing controlling that spotlight of attention. There's that saying when we talk about our neurons and all that, that what gets fired gets wired, right? The more that I practice this, the more that I'm using these strategies, the more natural it becomes. We see that with the draw stroke, right? The more I practice it, the more natural it becomes. Now, parting thought. Training scars, right? Because if we go back to that draw, if I am learning the draw in a wrong manner, if I am learning it in a flawed way and I keep training, what happens? I get a training scar. And the more that I'm doing that, I am inadvertently hurting myself. What are you doing that's a training scar for your mental health? If you're not doing any of this, and maybe it's drinking too much, maybe it's gaming too much, whatever it is, and it's not actively helping you to bring down that heart rate, to bring down how just ramped up you are, then you're causing a training scar. So use the mindfulness techniques. Again, I've been saying this whole time, make sure it fits your mission, make sure it fits you. So try these out, practice them, see how they fit, then start rolling them into your active exercises, your active training. But it's not just for that part. Remember, it can happen for at home too, after you're off duty, to help you relax and get ready for the next fight.